Let me show you something strange about prices. Sometimes the exact same product can feel cheap, and other times it feels ridiculously expensive. Same item, same store, different price. Why does that happen? It's not random. There's an invisible force behind almost every price you see, and once you notice it, you start seeing it everywhere. Imagine this. You walk into a bakery. There are 50 fresh donuts on the counter, but only 3 customers in the store. The baker knows something important. If he keeps the price high, those donuts might not sell, and unsold donuts are wasted money. So what happens? The price drops. Suddenly people buy more, not because the donuts changed, but because the situation changed. Now flip the situation. Same bakery, same donuts, but today there are 50 customers and only 10 donuts left. Something interesting happens. People rush. They look at each other. Some even say, wait, there are only a few left? And suddenly the price feels less important because now the problem isn't price, the problem is scarcity. And when something becomes scarce, people compete for it. Competition pushes the price up. This simple pattern exists everywhere. Concert tickets, housing, gasoline, airplane seats. When more people want something than what exists, prices rise. When fewer people want something, prices fall. Not because someone decided to be nice or mean, but because the system adjusts. But here's where it gets interesting. Sometimes demand explodes overnight. Think about a new phone launch. Millions of people want it immediately. Stores run out. Suddenly the same phone sells for more online. Not because it became better, but because everyone wants it at the same time. That pressure changes the price. Now imagine the opposite. A product nobody wants. Stores try discounts, sales signs, special offers. They're not doing it out of generosity. They're trying to attract demand, because without demand, supply becomes a problem. Products sitting on shelves are money frozen in time. Here's the part people rarely think about. Supply isn't instant. If suddenly millions of people want something, factories can't magically produce it overnight. It takes time. During that time, prices rise, because demand is running faster than supply. You saw this happen many times. Game consoles selling out, sneakers becoming impossible to find, even basic products disappearing during panic buying. When people fear scarcity, demand spikes. And when demand spikes, prices react. Now think about housing. Cities where many people want to live but space is limited. Supply grows slowly. Demand grows quickly. What happens? Prices climb, year after year. Not because homes changed overnight, but because pressure increased. This is why the same house can cost completely different amounts in different places. The building may be identical, but demand isn't. And demand is powerful. Now here's the psychological twist. Humans want things more when they think they might lose the chance to get them. Limited time, limited stock, last chance. You've seen these phrases everywhere, because they trigger urgency, and urgency increases demand instantly. The system reacts fast to emotion. When people feel calm, demand spreads out over time. But when people feel fear of missing out, demand explodes and prices follow. This is why understanding this pattern is powerful. When you see people rushing, you know demand is peaking. When shelves are full and nobody cares, demand is quiet. And quiet demand often means opportunity. Most people only see prices, but prices are just signals of pressure. Pressure between what exists and what people want. Once you start seeing that pressure, you stop being surprised by price changes. Supply and demand is happening around you all the time. Every store, every market, every product. It's the silent conversation between scarcity and desire, and that conversation never stops. The people who understand this pattern move differently. They don't panic when everyone else does. They recognize when demand is emotional and when it's real. That awareness alone changes how you make decisions. Because in the end, prices aren't random numbers. They're signals about what people want and what the world can actually provide. Once you see that, you stop reacting blindly to prices, and you start understanding what's really moving the market. And this is only the beginning. Because next, you'll understand something even more powerful. Why some countries become incredibly rich while others struggle for decades, and how the same invisible forces shape entire economies. Once you see those patterns, you start seeing the world very differently.